Hi there, guys. As you can see, I'm your host, Scrivo, and I'm tonight joined by Rob, and we are here on Angels of Death, covering the Balance Dataslate that has just landed. It's the 12th of March, and we're just looking at it through the lens of Space Marines. So let's just get to it, I guess. So the big key change that's kind of come in to affect Space Marines is what defines being Codex compliant Space Marines now. And this is defined, so rather than you getting Liberator task force of Blood Angels, but without Blood Angels units, you have to now be a Vanilla Marines unit army if you're in Gladius, Anvil Siege Force, Iron Storm, Firestorm, Stormlance, Vanguard Spearhead, First Company Task Force, or the Libraris Conclave. So what it means is you cannot be using a Codex Divergent Chapters detachments without their units to claim the +1 to wound into their oath target, which I think was probably what they always intended, right, Rob?
Yeah, it's a great little change just to bring it down a bit and bring Vanilla Marines up a little bit, isn't it?
Which is what the goal was, I think, last time around. So it's nice that they've kind of cleaned that up. And then we've got one small change on the Captain with Gravis armor, that his ranged weapon is now Assault and Heavy, right?
Yeah, so it's the same as a Heavy Intercessor, right?
Yeah, because that was something they obviously missed when they did the sweep, making his damage improve last time around.
Yeah.
And I think that is it for the Codex itself. So then I guess we go into the changes to Marines as a whole. So we've got the Oath of Moment change we've kind of just touched.
Yep.
And it cannot include Black Templars, Blood Angels, blah, 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 as long as it's not one of those detachments I just listed earlier as well. So it's nice and straightforward. We've kind of sealed the gap where people could abuse it, which none of us liked. And if people were using it, they just went, I'm using it because I can. And it's just like, it was a short-lived thing, right? So
yeah. You can still use Ultramarines, which was surprising.
Yeah, they've got a different route with that, it seems. So I guess we could touch on that now, I guess. So what they've done is they've put up a lot of the points of the units that were being kind of abused. And then Uriel Ventress's deep strike ability has been toned down, that it's not just infantry now. It's keyworded into Phobos, Gravis, and Tacticus. So basically, none of your firstborn. So goodbye Centurion Brick.
Yes.
Which it's long overdue, right? Like that's not what Vanguard should be, right?
It's a great change because Ventress by himself were making Vanguard detachment and something that shouldn't have been.
Yeah. It wasn't about the Phobos and Scouts and the sneaky Raven Guard stuff, which was a shame, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so great quality of life change there, I think. Just getting rid of that skew from one unit.
Yeah. And then it's just a couple of ironing outs of other little details, like Windswift Evasion, the reactive move in Stormlance. That is changed. It used to be just Adeptus Astartes units. It's now you can only do it to infantry and mounted. So none of that cheeky reactive move with the lion 9 inches when they're within 9 inches to go straight towards them, because no one apparently likes that, and it's clearly not what it was intended to do either. So
yeah, the other one is the Lieutenant Phobos armor.
Yes.
So there was a bit of a cheekiness you could do here. You could arrive from Strat Reserve or Deep Strike, shoot him, and then have a 3-inch charge.
Yeah. Clearly not what it's meant to do.
Right. So fix that. If you do the reactive shoot move after you shoot, no charging. It's just lined up with every other ability that is in the game that's like it.
Well, it makes sense, doesn't it? So I think it's nice that this is probably the lightest Balance Dataslate we've had for Space Marines for some time, but it's just showing that it's kind of all been tied up already.
Yeah.
And then I guess we can kind of now touch quickly on the points. So again, I think this is through the lens of a lot of it is through what the Ultramarines kind of build was.
Definitely.
So Company Heroes has gone up 10 points to 105. That doesn't surprise me because you're seeing at least one in every list. The Ballistus Dread's gone up 10 points again, so that's back up to 140. I still think you'd take 2, maybe not 3 now.
You still take 2. They just fill that durability role that you've got.
Yeah. And it is different enough to one of the tanks or one of the other dreadnoughts that it's still reasonable, right?
Yep.
And then Blade Guard, interesting, have gone down. So they're down 10 points, which surprised me because I've been dabbling with them. So I've got a lot of characters that don't give out invuns, and I don't really want to put them on Inner Circle Companions, but I want to use them. So I need to put them on a unit with an invun. So that's Blade Guard, right? So like your Asmodees of the world have a home, and it's a bit of a cheaper home now. So
Yeah, it's really interesting to me because there's not many melee units when you go vanilla Space Marines, is there?
no,
And this little drop, it seems small, but when you're losing 20 points, that's 20 points towards character attached to them.
yeah,
You attach a blade guard to them. You can attach um, Agrax. Agrax giving them full rerolls turns them into absolute monsters.
yes,
It just opens up I think it makes it a bit more palatable, actual melee threat that you have, and it's not just assault intercessors.
yes. And if you had an equivalent unit, like an elite bodyguard unit, so great example, Inner Circle Companions,
Yeah.
they were previously the same points. So it became like, which do you go with? And when one has 2 melee profiles and they don't, it made a very easy decision. So it's nice that there's now a point of difference to them again.
Yeah.
And then Centurion Devastator Squad, as a result of, I think this is because of the Ventress change, they've gone down in points because I think they tried to put them up to discourage people using them.
Yeah.
But the only use I was seeing them ever really being used in was, funny enough, with Ventress, which it's a shame, but they are an old small model that has one weakness, is its 4-inch move. It should probably have that as its weakness, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And then minus Calgar's gone up 10 points, so it's just kind of tipping in and biting in at the kind of the efficiency of that Ultramarines kind of Double Oath, Company Heroes, Ventress spam list.
Yeah.
So it's solid, right? And then
Yeah.
Predators and Vindicators have gone up like it has everywhere. So a Predator Annihilator has gone up 5 points to 135. The Destructor's gone up to 140. I still think I'll take a pair of them in a list. It's just where you got to save that efficiency, right?
Yeah, the Destructors are just so efficient into so many things with New Oath.
Yeah. And then the Vindicator's gone up to 185. I think that is to discourage the 3 build. I think if you're really reliant on that, you probably do go down to 2, and then just the points you save on top of that is maybe another scoring unit, perhaps.
Yeah.
Which is not the worst.
For me, though, this is kind of an interesting breakpoint for the Vindicators because that's only 25 points off a Redemptor, which has the same defensive profile with -1 damage.
Yeah.
And
more guns.
And more guns. So I think in the UKTC world we live in, it's not for us, but on something like GW terrain, I think there's a proper competition now between Vindicators and Redemptor Dreadnoughts.
Yeah. Yeah. And Whirlwinds have got a little nudge up again to 190 points. So they're really trying to discourage this kind of indirect spam thing. Yeah. That means that they are the cheapest indirect unit for Space Marines out of the 2, but it's not as efficient as the 200-point Desolation Marines. So I still think you're not going to see it spammed, so it's fine. Yeah. And then Fire Discipline's gone down in points because obviously they gave that a proper murdering in the last sweep. And then Fusillade for Liberius Conclave has gone up to 35 points.
Good.
Because it's a bit mean when it goes off. When it goes off, it's great. But
yeah. So I guess kind of what that means looking at that is the Ultramarines build has gone up 70-ish points.
Yeah, so that's unit scouts.
Yeah. So you're scoring less points if you take that build. So yeah, they've definitely targeted the problem build, I think.
Yeah. So getting rid of Bloodless Angels, getting rid of that. Angels. Yeah.
And I'm really impressed to see that it doesn't look like they've really hit any other builds. So
no. I guess when you look at the numbers, they're not taking out big events. They're not taking out little events. They're doing well. Don't get me wrong. Marines are in a solid place. And I think that's what the data slate should do, is they should bring things up and tone down things that are way too high. But if something's in there kind of in the fighting area around the 50%, they're not going to touch it. They're going to make those small changes. And I think that's where we probably are with Space Marines now.
Yeah.
After a year's worth of balance sweeps. Yeah, it looks all right. I think the only downside is something like Space Wolves and Black Templars not getting any love. A little shame, but they've each got a book on the way at some point, right? So just got to be patient now.
Yeah.
Cool. And thank you guys for tuning in. As you can see, we've gone through it quite quickly because there isn't that much this time. But let us know in the comments what change you think is the most impactful, and will probably shift how you build your lists. And why is it you're taking now 2 Vindicators instead of 3? And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you really enjoy what we do, you can become a YouTube member. We've got a cool Discord full of lovely members, all talking absolute madness about their lists. And if you're really into it, people like Rob will do coaching with you as well. So it's really cool. You can learn how to be bang average like us lot as well. Until next time, guys, take care.
See you guys. Bye.